Could the Arizona Cardinals general manager Monti Ossenfort leave day one of the draft, first round, with not one, but 2 picks to add to the Arizona Cardinals roster, Johnny Venerable?
Plus, who does Daniel Jeremiah believe the Arizona Cardinals will target come round 2? We are single digits away from the 2025 NFL Draft. PHNX Cardinals starts now. Hey, welcome in. What Studio K, my friends. At Circle K, it's the PHNX podcast, premier #1 Arizona Cardinals podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. I'm Johnny Venerable. He is Brack in Studio K. Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. What a banner show on a football Friday we have for you today. And of course, it's brought to you by our friends at Circle K. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Check them out right now at CircleK.com, Bo, for more details.
Love it. Full transparency. I see you guys already commenting in the chat. Our guy, Johnny Venerable, is on the road. He didn't want to miss a show. So it's either no Johnny or we just deal with this mic, which I'm willing to deal with because I want Johnny V's thoughts on today's topics. We got a really good show, Damon, Dawg.
For Sweet John?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Anything.
Full transparency, I lost my beautiful grandmother, 95 years young, last weekend. So traveled back east to pay respect. So hold it down with me. I appreciate all of you. And yes, there was no way by force I was going to miss a pre-draft show. And we've got a banner one here on a Football Friday.
Yeah. Condolences to your family, Johnny, and anybody who was saying anything before that. How do you feel now?
They feel really bad. And that
was a big man.
The point is to feel terrible. No, we feel great. I feel great. Bo, Damon, I saw them yesterday in studio. Despite my voice crack, I also feel great. It's a great
That was an all-time moment. That was an all-time moment, no doubt about it. Look, we thought we were just going to have a normal little Friday show. We're going to have a nice little mock draft update, our big 5. Get into the weeds as far as some draft stuff. Look at what Daniel Jeremiah said during his kind of last pre-draft press conference. And he had a couple tidbits as far as the Cardinals' 2nd and 3rd round picks. But Josh Weinfuss, ESPN.com, decided to disrupt that nice little casual Friday and drop a little tweet out there that has, I think, a lot of Cardinals fans buzzing about what could be come day one on Thursday. Here it is from Josh. A source told me, quote, today that it wouldn't be a surprise if the Cardinals trade back into the later portion of the first round to target a developmental position. Johnny's mic's bad. My reading's worse. But there you go from Josh Weinfuss. Johnny, essentially, the way I read that tweet is, according to Weinfuss's source, Monti Ossenfort would probably stick and pick at 16 and then utilize other draft capital to make his way back into the back end of the first round and come away with 2 first-round picks.
Yeah, and listen, Josh has been on this show before. Value his opinion. He had the tremendous story a couple of years ago on Cliff Kingsbury, Steve Keim, deteriorating, marriage that ended up in divorce by both gentlemen being terminated by the Arizona Cardinals. And now he's got somebody telling him that the Cardinals want to come back into the first round. And listen, I'm not going to toot my own horn, but every single time we've done a mock draft, I have by force reinsert myself back into the first round. So I think it makes sense for a lot of different reasons. You have to contextualize it by the fact that, and we've heard Benjamin Albright say this with you in your fabulous interview on Tuesday. We've heard Daniel Jeremiah mention this. Everybody knows this draft has about 6 to 8 blue chip elite players, right? A Marvin, a Paris in years prior. And then there's just a bunch of guys that teams have opinions on. depending on where they play, right? The university, scheme fit. And that can go from 15 all the way to maybe 45. So it would behoove the Cardinals, and I've said it, the sweet spot for this draft is for them maybe to do a mini trade down, go from 16 to 20, and then go back up and get one more first-round pick, thus allowing yourself an additional fifth-year option. The Cardinals rebuild, I think, would be chef's kiss. 5 first-round picks in 3 years it would represent under Ossenfort.
Yeah, and it would signal that how they view, I think, their first pick, right? If they wanted to come back in, and as Josh is reporting here, per his source, a developmental type that at the back end, that they want probably an impact maker from their first round pick. Do you get that sense too? Because I think it's like, okay, what we've been kind of reading the tea leaves, they want that guy that they utilize their top pick on to come in and immediately be entrenched as far as snaps and playing on whatever side of the ball we think, defensive side, have a pretty sound conviction in that. And then being a draft and develop organization, they say, hey, there's enough talent here that we think it merits getting back up here, getting a player under a 4-year contract with a 5th-year option and putting him behind one of our trusted vets to develop down the road. And that's got to get you excited as a Cardinals fan, because not only does it just signify win now, but also set ourselves up for success in the future.
And then we talk about like who is the player, right? What does development look like? And you could go down a whole can of worms here. I think it's signaling to everybody here that the first pick is going to be a defensive lineman of some kind, defensive tackle, edge rusher, that may not be an immediate starter, but is somebody, Bo, that you feel confident is going to go in and contribute immediately. Derek Harmon, Mykel Williams, right? Walter Nolan, all the who's. Throw in Shamar Stewart there. Whatever you want to do, pick your poison, Jonathan Gannon. We're with you. What does that second player look like? I feel like it's an offensive player. Couple different spots, most notably maybe offensive line, offensive tackle. I mean, would it shock anybody? It's like development could mean I'm taking Josh Simmons with the idea that he doesn't have to play right away. He's coming off injury. He only played 6 games last year. I'm going to develop Josh Simmons behind Jonah Williams for a year. Then he takes over, right? Yeah. Much healthier than I'm going to draft Kelvin Banks Jr. and I'm going to play him out of position and I'm going to get wacky with left guard and right tackle and left tackle. I just feel like there is a drop-off, and we'll see it. The Cardinals pick at a sweet spot of 47th in the second round. After that, there's a pretty significant shakeup that I think the Cardinals think to themselves, let's go and let's be in attack mode for once under Monti Ossenfort.
Yeah, you love it. I mean, you love when your team's aggressive, but also when you can kind of spin it and you can contextualize it as being smart too, right? And trying to take advantage of maybe what people perceive it is compared to last year. Absolutely a down draft year. But if the Cardinals understand or feel like, hey, the cost of getting up the board and back into the first round isn't what it's going to usually be. And we like some guys here, but we don't think that they're the perfect prospect that we necessarily deem worthy of our first round pick. We're going to be able to check that box earlier on in the round, but also bring somebody in that, man, like if they have some inside information, maybe from a former position coach, and we'll look at some of those prospects. But then you have to kind of like, you have to think outside the box. As you mentioned, like we've been looking at their top 30 visits and trying to really kind of connect the dots there as far as who they want at 16th potentially, or in a trade down, trade up situation. But then there's like, who are the guys that really are developmental? Like, could you go outside of position of need because they don't need that player to play significant snaps next year, but they see them as a future starter in this league? Like, could you look at, beyond Will Johnson at the cornerback position? Could you look to a Malik Hairston or somebody like that? Or the kid from Florida State, Thomas, who's fantastic, 6'1". He's got everything that Jonathan Gannon would want. Or you could look, like I see some people mentioning safety because of Benjamin Albright's comments. That's the one thing like I kind of tossed away from that interview. I didn't buy too much as far as them being in on a safety, but could they be in one as far as a developmental piece after they get the impact piece in a trade up back into the first round?
I don't think it's quarterback. I know there was some chatter on social media that it could be Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart. I just think Bo and I at this point, given how aggressive they've been adding free agents and working out free agent quarterbacks, most notably Tyler Snoop Huntley and adding Jacoby Brissett, it would be the ultimate kind of curveball there. Why would you sign Jacoby Brissett if you were going to trade back into the first and take Jalen Milroe or Jackson Dart, right? I could be proven wrong. We've been surprised before, but I don't think that's – I mean, people look at developmental and immediately their brain goes to, well, that's quarterback, developmental quarterback, right? There are a lot of positions, guess what, that you can develop, all 53 on an NFL roster. So, again, I think I'm of the mindset you look at the top 30 and you take the common denominator, and overwhelmingly it is defensive line and then that next tier, to your point, corner, offensive line. I think that is where you have to be living if you're a Cardinal fan. But again, a corner is going to play a lot right away. I don't look at corner as developmental. I look at an offensive lineman taken with a fifth-year option, even if it's Gray Zabel, even if it's, whomever you want, Josh Connerly later on. That's a developmental guy that is not forced to play right away. And I think that's what they want to do.
Let's take a look at it. We got compiled a couple names that stood out to us, and you guys are crushing in the chat. Give yourself a pat on the back because you'll recognize some of these names. Yeah, third on our list, Donovan Jackson. 3 of the 4 that we just mentioned, and I don't think it stops there. You guys can continue to leave it in the chat in the comments who you would like to see drafted and developed as a trade back in option to the first round. But Josh Simmons, because of the injury, because it's not just a routine ACL, MCL, PCL, it's a patellar tendon, a little bit trickier there. Gray Zabel, because he's making a jump from an FCS school, probably changing positions, kicking from tackle inside. Donovan Jackson, too, who's primarily played inside but kicked outside out of necessity because of Simmons' injury for Ohio State. And then I just put Kenneth Grant down there, Johnny, because he's only started 1 year at Michigan.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like he's ready? Like, I think he's a true junior coming out of the Wolverines Big Blue program there. And maybe they feel like, hey, we like him, but do we like him at 16? Maybe we like him jumping back into the first round.
I agree with the chat. Any of those guys, give me some of that. And again, like I can be anti-Gray Zabel at 16 because I think that's, I don't know, the responsible thing to say, but also be very pro-Gray Zabel into the 20s. Be very pro-Gray Zabel where he belongs to be drafted. Gray Zabel, in my opinion, is not a top 20 pick. You know who is? Walter Nolan, Derek Harmon, right? Michael Williams, those kind of players. You want to take Gray Zabel in a trade up from 47 and package some picks and be aggressive. Because listen, you take a guard here, they may not start right away, but let them compete with Evan Brown, right? Let them come in and say, hey, we're going to have a competition at left guard. And guess what? Even if you don't win the job, there are worse things than having, Donovan Jackson. Could you imagine Donovan Jackson as your swing interior offensive lineman in 2025? The stark contrast, it'd be the same thing. Derek Harmon may not start right away. Walter Nolan may not start right away. Those kind of players. Develop that same kind of mantra with the offensive line. It's a long season, 17 games. I just think back to what Jonathan Gannon has told us publicly and privately, and this isn't a secret. They value line of scrimmage players. I believe if they do something like this, save for a corner, I think it's going to be 2 offensive and defensive linemen. I think it's going to be one on each side, and I think it's going to start with defensive line.
I'm looking at the draft trade value chart. It's the 2025 version.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but you stop me here when I give you a team that I think would be the Cardinals would view as, okay, there's a good trade partner. Okay. This is post 16. So you've got the Bengals, Seahawks, Bucks, and then you're into the 20s. You got the Broncos, Steelers, Chargers, Packers, Vikings. You've got the Texans, Rams, Ravens, Lions, Commanders, Bills, Chiefs, or Eagles. Which one of those teams you want to try to get one of their picks?
I mean, it's the Houston Texans, 1,000%. And I just so happen to have the trade chart in front of me. So Houston's pick right now is 720. Okay. It's worth 720 points. The Cardinals pick is 430. Okay. So you're talking about 47 likely plus certainly pick 78, which is 200. And then you're probably looking at adding a future pick on top of it. So I would say if you want to get that deal done, you're looking at 47, 78, and probably next year's third. That's a pretty steep price.
Yeah. But let me counter with, you get, I guess, like Walter Nolan and Ezeraku on your roster.
Oh God, don't even toy with my emotions like that. Or listen, Josh Simmons, are we overthinking this? Is this franchise with Justin Fry in the fold and a need at right tackle past this year? Are we going to look back and say this Josh Simmons was never going to leave the draft not being an Arizona Cardinal? Given the relationship with Ohio State, they know everybody there. Their left tackle, their wide receiver, the relationship with Ryan Day. Yeah. We might be overthinking this because what did Fran Duffy tell us about Josh Simmons? Injury notwithstanding, if he never got injured, he would be a top 10 pick and he would be vying for offensive tackle 1 in this class above Will Campbell and Membu. Maybe the Cardinals are like, we're going to buy a stock, not damaged goods, but a stock that dips down a little bit. And we're going to go get Josh Simmons at 25 or 26, whatever. And we've got maybe the makings of a top right tackle in the NFL.
It's making me feel alive just thinking about the prospect of it. That's for sure. And look, people are thinking already outside the box. Like, well, why don't you trade down from 16, maybe come down a couple picks? We got some teams, behind them in the Bengals that want to get an edge rusher. You've got the Bucks right there that feel like they're in win now mode. Have they identified, a player in this draft that they absolutely need to get their hands on and get the ticket put in before some of these other teams? Could Monti do what he did his first draft and just really kind of wheel and deal like he did, where he went down and then he came back up? And also with that, it's like, okay, if the Cardinals, actually not with that, but if the Cardinals at 16 were to take one of the few offensive players that they hosted for a top 30 visit, would that more signify an attempt to get back up in this first round to take advantage of some of these top defensive playmakers?
I think so. Don't you?
Yeah.
I like, here's what we know about pick 16. There's going to be a player that the Cardinals value that's going to fall to pick 16. Harmon, Walter Nolan, Michael Williams, Shamar Stewart, James Pierce Jr., all top 30 visits minus Derek Harmon, which we still feel good about. They're all in that mix, right? And so you can sit and pick and then bide your time. Mm-hmm. Here's what Monti Ossenfort may do. He may pick a player at 16 and immediately start working the phones to get back into the first round. Like, would that surprise anybody? Or he could say, you know what? I'm going to go and double down and have multiple picks at tops the second round, and I'm going to trade down with Houston, which I would not have an issue with. I just feel like, again, we're like-minded, Ossenfort, in this podcast. We have been talking about this ad nauseum. Find a way to get 2 impact makers now and eventually between about picks 20 to 40. Get in that sweet spot. Have a player selected either 16, 20, 25, and then bang, right after that, come back and get somebody else in that same ballpark, because this, Bo, there's not going to be a huge difference in talent between the 2 players. They're going to be very similar. This is not like last year. We talked about it on yesterday's show if you missed it. Ossenfort had the safety net of Darius Robinson and pick 27. And he tried to go up, but he didn't do it. This year, there's a long time to watch a lot of good players go from 16 to 47, is there not? It's going to be the longest wait he's had in an early round.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. I mean, when you feel like you are just a couple players away from really kind of taking your rebuild or taking your team from knocking on the door of the postseason, trying to get there, and that would push you over the top with, identifying the weaknesses that you had. I mean, that has to have a general manager a little antsy in their pantsy, which I believe is an NFL term that they use when you're trying to get up the board. But look, I mean, this is a great, I think, conversation to have. But with the Cardinals where they are, just roster wise overall, I think anything you can supplement from, if you're taking a first round pick now, or you're sticking and picking at 47, or trading down at 47 and creating more capital, or trading down in the first round, you're putting yourself in a position to even more so fortify this roster.
No doubt about it. And you're giving your team the added juice after last year where you said, well, we have how many picks in the top 90? 7? Hadn't been done since the early Dallas Cowboys because we needed every last one of them. Despite what I think about Tip Ryman, depth, right? And we've got a backup running back and a starting guard and an outside corner in Max Melton, and you just flush that roster. Now it's about what we talk about all season, raising the bar with high-end talent, right? Because the legwork has been done. The bottom and the middle of this roster has been elevated. Now it's who can we get to match the level of play from Paris, from Garrett Williams, from Marv, ASAP. You take a defensive lineman at pick 16, they're peaking year one come Thanksgiving. You take a tackle, a developmental guard at 25, 27, 28, maybe they're helping you in a stretch run to win the NFC West this year. And then year two, you're talking about guys that we're projecting to be top 100 players, Pro Bowlers, etc. As much as I love draft picks, and man, oh man, we're thirsty for them on day 2 and day 3 when we don't have them, right? We'll sell our soul for a 5th-round pick. The guys early are the guys that 9 times out of 10 have a better shot at producing. And this is a year where you really feel like, let me get in the middle of the first round to take advantage. And I love hearing that.
If the Cardinals don't utilize day 2 draft capital to get back up in the first round, draft expert Daniel Jeremiah identifies some big names that the Cardinals could target at 47 and 78. We'll get into that conversation all coming up here on PHNX Cardinals.
But first, if you have not gotten your tickets already, our draft party, tickets are dwindling, folks, because it's going to be the event of the draft season. It is just days away. Join myself, Bo Brack, our entire team at Gila River Resorts and Casinos at Wild Horse Pass. We're going to have a blast. Get your tickets now. All you can eat, 3 drink tickets, and more. It's the place to be is Gila River Resorts and Casinos. We're going to be hanging out. We're going to open doors early. We're going live at 4:30. We're going to be hanging out. There's going to be giveaways. There's going to be instant reactions. Bo and I are going to be chopping it up. We want to get your take ahead of pick 16 live and in living color with our friends at Gila. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos.com. Download the app today and come out to Arizona's largest sportsbook casino. Hang with us. Go put a draft prop in over at the sportsbook. Come back. Let's have a blast. Again, we appreciate everybody that's been in our DMs and our mentions saying that they're getting tickets. And man, oh man, we are about to reach capacity. So I want to remind everybody, get your tickets now. They will sell out. We'll see you next Thursday at Gila.
Yeah, and that swing suite, man, it's still available. You and 6 friends, if you could scrounge up the scratch, it's a great deal. It's probably actually would turn into the best deal of our PHNX Cardinals draft party over there at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Check it out. Go phnx.com/events. And I can tell you for sure, we're going to have some of these bad boys out there. This is our Brandon Bills Phoenix hat. Also, we've got the PHNX pennant hat. It's our collab with Brandon Bills, and Brandon Bills is taking the world by storm. Elevate your brand with Brandon Bills, the perfect headwear and apparel to do so. Whether you want snapbacks, you got truckers, you got fitteds, you got beanies, you got tees. I believe they even have hoodies. Brandon Bills has you covered with performance and style. It's really unreal, and it's nice that it's just right here in our backyard, but it's international. You go to any kind of like event, you go to like a softball tournament, baseball tournament, volleyball tournament, whatever, you're going to see Brandon Bills all over the place. Looking for some gear to make your brand stand apart from the crowd? Brandon Bills has you covered with the best custom headwear. Start your order today, and the dedicated team will help you create the exact custom apparel that you need. They have partnerships with ASU, U of A in part of the campus collection. They also have GCU for the Lopes out there, local company in Mesa, Arizona. Head to brandonbills.com. Use the code PHNX for 20% off your first order. That's code PHNX. When you log on to brandonbills.com, you get 20% off your first order.
Smash the like button for PHNX Cardinals on a Friday. I want to remind everybody tomorrow, Saturday, is our last day without a show through the NFL draft. We're going live on Sunday night, Nasty Boys, Cards After Dark, all through the weekend in route.
Easter version, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's boring, but it's part of my life, part of our life. Smash that like button. The goal, of course, on a Football Friday, 300 likes. We got 310 watching alone on YouTube. We appreciate all of you. Do we appreciate what Daniel Jeremiah had to say today, Bo Brack?
Yeah, I don't know. Just anybody. Easter's one of those weird days where you eat like either eat brunch or you eat dinner at like 2 p.m. So you'll be ready. You'll be primed for a PHNX Cardinals After Dark. You'll actually need it. Just hold off on watching The Last of Us and watch us. Was it The First of Us? Is that what we're calling ourselves?
Can I just say I didn't like how Ellie treated Joel last week. I didn't like it. I'm not into this season yet.
No spoilers. I haven't started it yet, so yeah, if you could maybe just zip it.
I'll just say this, Damon. Okay, like he's right there. Before having a teenager, like get used to it. That's gonna be you.
My kids love me. They think I'm the best. They think I'm the greatest.
The cool dad, right?
I'm the
cool dad of the draft media, right? You've got the misbehaving kid. That's Matt Miller, and then you've got, of course, the old dad, the wise one, Daniel Jeremiah. He held court today. I think he does this like twice every draft season. He did it a couple months ago, and he kind of gave some similar information about who the Cardinals could target in round 2 at 47, and then expanded that into round 3. And we heard from DJ. And, it seems pretty like he agreed that the Cardinals should look at the defensive front still in round 1, and then looked at this here in day 2, starting with 47. He thinks it would be a sweet spot to look at maybe somebody like Jonas Savanea, who's the versatile offensive lineman from University of Arizona at 47. If he makes it there, he says it might go a little bit before that, but the possibility is kind of in the range, would give you interior offensive lineman. And also, if you wanted to go edge rusher at 78 after that point, you got a lot of interesting options at that point in time. You've got Swinson from LSU a little bit before then as well. And then also you've got Jordan Birch from Oregon, who's kind of a polarizing kid with the Ducks. And then he thinks that's the round where you could get Femi Oladejo, the converted off-ball linebacker, to edge from UCLA.
I want you to read I want you to read for our audio audience, Bo, the first 2 lines of this write-up from Daniel Jeremiah. Go ahead.
All right. So if you're looking at the Cardinals and they're picking at 47 and 78, I don't think you're going to find a tackle to your shooting there that you're going to love. I think you're going to find an interior offensive lineman that's a good player.
Okay, so could we cut back to me, Damon? I'm going to do my best Brian Windhorse here. Oh, I don't think you're going to find a tackle that can play at 47. What do we think? Oh, you might have to come up and get a tackle. That's what I read from that. That the tackles, respectfully, could be trash at that point, are not worth that pick, and you're going to have to come up.
Well, I don't think, Ursary is going to be there at 47. I think that's also what he's keeping in mind. No, but he's right. I mean, it's going to be a position that's going to be pretty pick clean, unless you get to like the kid out of NC State who took a top 30 visit along with, the top, the 3rd and 4th ranked tackles in this class.
How many top 30 visits did they use on guards this year? I think 0 so far. 0 plus 0 is 0 thus far, unless you want to count Calvin Banks moving to guard. Donovan Jackson at guard would make a lot of sense. They haven't used the top 30 on him. We'll see. But I read that, and it's like, you really want to be taking an edge rusher in the 3rd round? You really want to wait till the 3rd round and do an edge rusher? I don't like that. I don't like the sound of that. I think the defensive line box has to be checked at 16. But the question then becomes, Bo, let's say you get Derek Harmon. Let's say they take Derek Harmon at 16. And we're all saying, awesome pick, great job. And then they use their picks and they trade up for Josh Simmons. And we're like, awesome pick, great job. Well, what do you do at edge rusher, right? That's a concern of mine. And again, maybe we just have to suck it up with Baron Browning for a year. Maybe we just have to come to the realization that position need be damned. Derek Harmon and Josh Simmons are so important to the foundation of this team that we're going to add a D tackle and a right tackle. A right tackle, by the way, who may not play right away. I think right now you look at it, and I think the sticking point with you and I every time we do a mock draft, by the way, we're going to do one after in a little bit here on the show. You pick at 16, you're waiting at 47. Is there going to be an edge rusher of choice there that they like? And if not, I don't want to pick the scraps of the edge rusher class at 70. I've seen that before, and it goes horribly awry.
Yeah. In the edge at 16, so kind of temperamental, right? It's so volatile. Like when you've got Michael Williams, and then obviously Abdul Carter's off the board way before that. So your top two edges are out there, and then you're looking at a kind of a clumped up group, especially when it's red flag city between JPJ and Mike Green, and then you've got guys that don't necessarily have the value as 16th overall pick as far as Ezaraku or Landon Jackson. It's a really tough spot to go edge there. And that's why I kind of agree with you. Like 47 seems to be probably the sweet spot. If you don't get it there, it's where we have been. It's PTSD. The last two drafts is like, oh crap, when are they going to get their edge? And they took up Ojulari, and we were happy with that because he was a top 50 pick. We didn't know the future that it held with two kind of injury plagued seasons. And then you didn't see one until the 5th round with Clemson Xavier Thomas last draft. So you're hoping there's a little bit more urgency. Like 16 is one of those things you can't really control.
No.
But after that, it's on you to figure out a way to tap into the depth at the edge rusher class and get somebody that's probably a more viable option or projects to be down the line.
Shaft saying maybe Oladejo and Daniel Jeremiah mentioned that at 78. That's just 77 picks before Oladejo gets drafted. I think that's
a great prospect. He's a prospect, and he's a project. Oladejo, I'm like, as much as I like his potential, I don't think you could realistically think that this guy could start playing the position. Like how hard it was for Zaven Collins to make the switch. This guy started playing edge in the middle of UCLA's season last year. So to expect him to make the jump and then be an impact maker, I think it's a bit unrealistic. As much I like the potential, I like the prospect, I don't like him as your first edge option. If you had somebody already in the fold and you're taking him at 78 or beyond, then you can get me on Femi. But before that, it's gonna be a tough sell.
Doesn't it just feel like the edge class, the defensive tackle class, some of these second-tier offensive linemen, it's like we don't necessarily love the idea. We like it taking some of them at 16, but man, do we love the idea of taking them in a trade down or in a trade up scenario, right? But then there's no assurance that any of them are going to be available at 47. I mean, that's the most. Yeah. I think that's the most difficult part of this. Will Johnson's gone and Jalen Walker's gone, and you're sitting there at 16 and you're like, I like these guys. I like them more with an extra third in my pocket, right? And I'd like to be able to move down and manipulate my board and come back up. That's the biggest issue with this draft right now. And again, it's not a bad problem. It's first world problems compared to what the Jets and the Bears are dealing with, talking themselves into tight ends and, Mountain West running backs, respectfully. Like that's
after winning 5 games last year.
That's a hell on earth I don't want to experience. And who knows? Genty might be a good player. The Cardinals are like, oh, do we pick the standout defensive tackle from Oregon or Ole Miss or an edge rusher from Georgia or Tennessee? I think you're just going to have to get comfortable with the idea that if you trade down, a lot of these players are going to be gone. Or if you opt to stick and pick at 16 and wait till 47, a lot of these names that we've come to know over the last 6 months, it's going to be a tough sledding. I mean, look back at last year.
Yeah.
Max Melton, they traded down. Max Melton was not on anybody's radar on this show or otherwise. 3rd round was a horror show. That, I mean, if we're sitting here and it's true to form Ossenfort at 47, it could be a player that a lot of us are like, what are you doing? And maybe that's the rationale behind what Weinfuss is reporting, in that this is not the year to do that. This is the year to come back up and be a player of note.
No, I mean, I've kind of felt that way. Like the edge class is similar to the corner class from last year. And
it's a great point.
But to Shaft's point, as we're all kind of complimenting people in a circle here, like it like Landon Jackson is not the Max Melton of this class or of his position. It's probably more like Femi Oladejo, and it's going to be like, like Cooper DeJean and Kool-Aid McKistry, who Monty basically conceded getting by trading down. He would concede getting down, and he would just have to trust his board. Yeah. Are we going to trust him by making another move like that in back-to-back drafts?
I want to trust Ossenfort, and I think, like we talked about in free agency, the aggressiveness wins for him this year. Keep that same energy, right? You were aggressive re-signing Budda Baker and James Conner. You were aggressive in getting Trey McBride locked up. You were aggressive with your defensive linemen. Let's have 2 first-round picks this year. I think that would be sending such. Think about if you're Kyler Murray and you've got people, we've talked about it on this show, get a developmental guy, bring in competition, and the team says, no, F that. We're going to refortify this roster, Kyler. We're 1,000. What kind of message would that send to your fan base? It's like, we feel like we're so close that we're going to get 2 first-round picks this year when nobody expects us to. And we're going to get 2 ass kickers to come in, maybe same side of the ball, maybe not.
Yeah.
Because that is what pushes you from 8-9 to 11-6. That's what gets you over the hump in 2025.
Yeah.
Not waiting and compounding and watering down on day 2 like last year.
Yeah. As we continue to be the podcast for healing, we got the Cardinals and Patrick Peterson back together. Maybe we get Monti Ossenfort and Howie Roseman back together, because when you start to look at the trade chart, Johnny, 32, it's not that far off from what the point total is on 47. I'm looking at it right now, in the 32nd overall pick, which is the last pick in the first round, belongs to Philly, and it's 590, while the Cardinals' 47th overall pick is 430. It's a lot less of a way to go as far as hitting that point total, as far as the trade chart. Or like you could look at KC, that's 600, or Buffalo at 620. Like, maybe we should be looking at 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, those teams that are firmly, back in the postseason conversation, from Detroit to the Commanders to the Bills to KC and in the Philly, where they could probably trade second round pick and some change. And that puts you firmly in a position, I think, to avoid all of this whole conundrum.
Yeah, I think it's a fresh day in hell before Ossenfort and Gannon do business with Howie Roseman, but we can dream. I mean, what did Buffalo do last year? They couldn't stop trading down.
Right.
Maybe that's just who they are. Or if you're Kansas City and you're like, hey, our roster's thinning out here and we're paying old players, we need to supplement, right? We need to get back to basics and hit on some draft. Cardinals are the opposite. Nobody's had more picks in the top 100 the last 2 years, and that's a credit to Ossenfort than the Arizona Cardinals. Now it's like, Can he stick the landing here? If you have 2 first-round picks this year and you hit on both of them, you are putting yourself in a position to win the division for the immediate future. If you hit on a disrupting defensive lineman and you get a Pro Bowl quality offensive lineman, you're in a position now where this franchise is set up for success, and it almost kind of guarantees Ossenfort that he can write his next check. He can write his next contract.
Right.
No more players from Illinois for a minute, Monty. Take a breather here.
Take a beat.
Yeah.
I know you love Pat Bryant. Maybe he could do something for you at the wide receiver
position.
Pat
Bryant podcast on check back in, Pat, on Saturday. We'll talk to you.
I think I'm kind of doing it out of wishful thinking. It's like, please don't trade away your entire day 2 picks. We got a full day of broadcast to do if the Cardinals are just.
That would be bad for Scattaboo watch for sure, for your boys.
No, it wouldn't. He's going day 3.
I mean, but if you're trading day 3 picks to go up and get another your Scattaboo watch takes a tremendous hit, but we're brave soldiers. We'll soldier on. This is the most unpredictable first round for the Cardinals, I think, probably since they traded a first for Hollywood Brown and that horror show of a draft in 2022. Your first draft show with us, by the way.
Yeah, that was interesting. The fellas were there. It was supposed to be when Johnny came back from and chugged a beer, and it was like redemption, and it didn't go well. It was like your attempt at chugging a beer was the equivalent of what Steve Keim did that first round.
Then you got alphaed by a random guy who came on set and chugged the beer himself.
That was
right?
the next year.
Okay.
I'm just I get alphaed a lot, I guess, chugging beers and not chugging beers. There's too many memories to even comb through. But Bo flew in. It was a banner day where we were like, yeah, let's go. Who's the play? Oh, Hollywood Brown for a first rounder. That doesn't seem like a good deal. Well, Trey McBride
talk ourselves into it, and we tried. And then look, and we didn't know it. And Trey McBride was gifted to us the next day.
He absolutely was.
And then 2 trash pass rushers that were off the roster.
The most trash. I'll tell you what's not going to be trash. Our mock draft right around the corner here on PHNX Cardinals. Are we going all 7 rounds, Bo Brack?
Do we want to do that? Yeah, let's do it. All 7 rounds, and I think it's a requirement of this draft to do what Josh Weinfuss reported today. Get back in the back half of the first round. But do we trade down before doing that? You got to find out. It's all coming up. PHNX Cardinals.
I'm trading up for our friends at Pure Edibles, folks. They're a #1 draft pick here at PHNX Cardinals. Founded, hey, I'm trading up for our friends at Pure Edibles, founded in Arizona and available in 130 dispensaries statewide. How about it? Pure gummies are not covered in sugar like all of their competitors. Trash. They're a full-fledged candy company offering gummies, kicks, their version of Starbucks, chews, soft candies like caramel, plus they've got hard ones that you can enjoy short-term and long-term. Pure effects are clearly listed on each tin, so it's not a surprise. It's not a bad surprise, right? It's a great experience. Pure gummies, Pure offers gummies for sleep support as well as candies, uplifting effects derived by unique cannabis such as CBN, CBG, CBD, and marijuana derived from THC. They were created in Flagstaff, AZ at Noble Herb Dispensary, the home of Pure Edibles, and now made in Sweet Baby Phoenix, Arizona. Again, check them out for yourself right now. Go to pureedibles.com. And again, check them out at 130 dispensaries across Arizona, Bo.
Love that. I'll fill the audience in on what was going on during this break in just a minute. First, if you're thinking about selling your home, you need to get to know Carol Royce like Damon, myself, Johnny have. Carol actually came into the studios a couple weeks ago. We talked to Carol Royce from Carol Royce, your home sold guaranteed realty. And wow, she just gets it, Johnny. And the market's wild, right? I mean, over 4,000 canceled listings already this year. That's 4,000 homeowners whose agent couldn't get the job done. That's not Carol. Carol's a difference maker. She's the exception. Carol Royce guarantees to sell your home for 100% of the market value, or she's going to pay you the difference. That's a guarantee that you don't necessarily get in the real estate market. Yeah, that's right. Other agents, they overprice and pray. Carol, she prices it right and gets it sold. She's your guaranteed sold real estate agent. She's been doing this for over 3 decades, 12,000 homes sold. It's not luck, it's just results. Her team, it's family affair, 3 generations deep, born and raised right here in the Valley. They know it around every corner here of our great state. If you're ready to sell, you're curious about cash offers, if you need to understand your options, give Carol a call today, 480-776-5231. That's 480-776-5231. Or go to carolroyceteam.com and tell them PHNX sent you. That's carolroyceteam.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Everybody drop a like on this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. We are offering diehard memberships for the entire year at just $36. We want to welcome all of our new diehards, everybody re-upping. Right now, there's no better time than to check out gophnx.com. If you become a diehard, you're going to get 20% off all future events like our draft party. You're going to get the complete breakdown, Fran Duffy's draft guide. You will not find a better breakdown. Comprehensive. It's fantastic. Plus, rep a free piece of merch. I was doing this like this is a shirt from the merchandise locker. It's not, but it's still, the point remains. Get a free piece of merch, like a t-shirt at gophnx.com. You will not be sorry that you did.
We did a collab with State 48 at one point. You just happen not be repping it. You can get this nice lid here. And also, big shout out to our guy, Chris. Chris Hart hit us up on Twitter, said he re-upped for his 3rd year. Loves what we're doing at PHNX Cardinals. Shout out to Chris, one of our very loyal listeners, viewers, and of course, diehards. You're what make this thing go, Chris. You and the many members of this unbelievable diehard community. Don't miss out on any more of that any longer. $36 gets you in the door. It's going to keep you here forever, and we'll be happy to have you. Real quick, Johnny, we went into our ad breaks, and Damon's phone went off, and he was listening like baseball highlights. It was like at max volume, and he couldn't control it. So he literally just threw it out the door of the studio. He launched it out the door of the studio while you could do your live read in peace, but it was like full scramble mode. It was like, have you seen the video of Tyler Shuck where he gets kind of the blitz and he just kind of underhand throws the ball to the defender
against Texas?
Yeah. That was Damon with his phone because it just went off. It went rogue.
That's a pretty accurate description of exactly what happened. I was trying, so even more peek behind the curtain. I pulled double duty here. I'm the host of the Wild PHNX podcast show.
No big deal.
Yeah, and I 12 p.m. Monday through Friday. Tune in. But I was trying to embed a baseball tweet about a moonshot home run, and I turned my phone off, and the volume just would not go. So I was trying to be silent as a church mouse, and it just didn't work out that way at all.
No, you were as loud as Johnny starting this show right here. Also, Damon and Kevin, we talk about a great job they do. They're going to be out there at the U of A spring game tomorrow. Some are calling it Brent Brennan's swan song, his final spring game. But we'll see. Like, you're going to get all the sights and sounds. You're actually going to hear from the head coach, Kevin and Damon. They're going to talk to him and also get to talk to I think some members of his staff, maybe some players, and then who knows could show up. I mean, could we see Teteroa McMillan? Could we see a Jonas Savanea? I mean,
T-Mac was out at some spring practices. It wouldn't shock me if he was out there vibing.
I wouldn't.
Just look out for producers of Ross Tucker's podcasts if you're interviewing T-Mac. That's a little behind the curtain. Maybe I'll tell the people in the Discord about that one.
Time in Bahama is looking for Brent Brennan. They've never found a Hawaiian shirt they didn't like. Poor T-Mac. T-Mac, if I was T-Mac, I'd want no part of Brent Brennan after he sabotaged his draft stock. But that's just me. T-Mac's a better guy than I am.
You got people like Benjamin Albright calling him Devontae Parker. You're like, hey, man, I got a bone to pick with you on this one. I went from people calling me the next T. Higgins to Devontae Parker, a guy who can't separate it all.
Got a little fired up about that. I don't know about Devontae Parker. Bo was on the defensive mode.
If I'm going to tell you right now, if T-Mac becomes a great player, Brent Brennan should never coach at the University of Arizona ever again. I have no issue saying that. If you could not win with those players last year, I mean, like, listen, it's very similar. I compare last year of U of A to this year of the Phoenix Suns. Very similar. Very, very similar.
It actually is fairly similar in terms of expectations versus reality.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Devontae Parker, his separation, like if you look at his chart, it's just another man piggybacking he's just carrying another full human on his back.
Now run safeties, much less corners. I'm a T-Mac guy. And I hope he lands in a good spot just for you, Damon Dawg. Who will we land in our mock draft here, Brack? Let's get in. Look, I am on location, so Damon is going to fire up the PFF mock draft simulator. I'm excited to see what we got cooking here. So we're going to go 7 rounds, but we're going to do a little baby trade up. And I'm at the victim of what I guess Damon and Bo typically see is my eyes aren't that great. So you guys are going to have to break down best available here for your boy.
Okay.
Are we doing anything in terms of settings that I need to be selecting?
No, we're not going to Johnny it and mess with the sliders
Don't
or anything.
Refer to it as Johnny it when you mess with the settings.
Well, positional value, Bo, maybe?
Sure. We'll do that.
All right.
I just don't want people to because there isn't a lot of positional value early on. I people wouldn't take tight ends as early as we want them to go. Positional value, but we'll see. Let's go. Let's just fire it up. It's good to have you driving the bus here, Damon. I got to tell you, I feel like we're really being taken care of here.
What's that supposed to mean? I don't like that. I don't like that.
Exactly.
Kick this bad boy off.
Yeah, let's do it.
Moving a little fast here. I'll pause it. We're here at 10 picks in. You got Cam Ward number 1, Mason Graham number 2, Shador going number 3, Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, Will Campbell, Ashton Genty to the Jets. Great pick by the Jets there. Armand Membu, T-Mac, and Jihad Campbell as the top 10.
Well, let's see who's on the board real quick. Okay.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Let's finish it up to the Cardinals.
It's not as easy as it looks. Sometimes it takes a seasoned pro to get this right, Damon.
So we got, as you mentioned, Campbell going to the Bears, and then Jahdae Barron going to the Niners. Shamar Stewart going to the Cowboys. Good pick, Cowboys. Enjoy that 1.5 sacks per year. Tyler Warren going to the Dolphins. You got Mike Green going to the Colts. Matthew Golden going to the Falcons ahead of the Cardinals here on the clock at 16. Let's see who the Cardinals options are.
Damon, real quick, can you zoom in on your browser?
Yeah. Let me try real quick.
There we go.
Does
Does that work for you?
That's helping, right?
Yeah. Let's do one more little smooch of a zoom in.
Wow.
There we go. Now we're cooking.
How about that, people?
How bad is your eyesight?
There were some people in the chat that were calling for it too. I'll give Johnny.
Now, Johnny, the chat is everybody's saying trade back, but Will Johnson's on the board. What do we think about just sticking and picking Will Johnson and then quickly pausing to see where our trade back in option is?
Jeez. I didn't even consider this being a possibility. We went Will Johnson our last draft, though.
Okay.
For the sake of diversity, I think we take Walter Nolan here. That's just my.
I think try to trade down. Damon, would you click on our trade options here? Okay, look, you could do a mini trade down.
That's super cute.
Tampa Bay wants to get up. So we've got 16, the 17% chance that they'll give us the second round pick. Offer that bad boy up.
Smooch it up.
Oh, Jason Light, you dog.
Dude, take their third. A third for dropping 3 spots is not bad at all. So deselect Damon the second round, and let's grab.
He knows what he's doing here. He knows what he's doing.
He doesn't. This is his first time.
Backseat driving over here. That trade is accepted. So we picked up a third so we've got some ammo to get back up into the first round. So the Bucks have accepted it. Let's see who they take. Certainly taking their time. Jalen Walker. We passed down to Jalen Walker.
Hey, the mock draft simulator. I think you take Walter Nolan here. I think you go Walter Nolan.
I'm with it.
Walter Nolan, huh?
I'm also trying to be realistic here.
Will Johnson is on the board still.
I already had a late bong video that hit the internet, and that's why teams are freaking out. He had a late medical.
But you're thinking about, hey, we want a defensive front player here, but you could trade back in and get him later in the first round.
I think Walter, I get what you're saying. There's not going to be a player the caliber of, and the chat wants Walter Nolan. Can we just appease the chat here?
Okay. Walter Nolan, 19th overall.
All
okay.
right, let's play this here.
Okay.
I think you call Houston. I think you try to get up with Houston.
So Houston's at 25th overall. They want a wide receiver. Both wide receivers gone? Have Golden and T-Mac on?
Yes, Golden and T-Mac have both gone.
So
and Egbuka.
Gross.
So they might, unless they're going offensive lineman here. Let's just see what they've got. Let's go to Houston and see what kind of draft capital we would take. So trading back or getting up. So 47, they would do 78 and 47. It's a good chance.
We've never offered a trade faster.
Damon's going to try to swindle him and give him the Bucks trade. They didn't do that.
They're smart. Their GM was drinking water out of a backpack at the combine 2 years ago after he swindled the Cardinals. Oh, the dirty rat. You know what?
All right. I say you aim lower in the first round and you deal with the 5 teams we talked about.
Yeah, let's do Buffalo, Damon. Let's go
to Buffalo, or should I let the clock play out a little bit before?
I mean, we're making the trade regardless, so I don't think it matters.
Okay.
Yeah, they're there you go. I think they're all over that. Yeah. No issue with this at all.
So you give up 47.
Damon, try to get 109. Yeah.
You guys, you're
let's
messing
go.
with it.
132. This is how a deal is done.
Yeah, you never offer your final offer, Bo.
Ooh, we've got 1 attempt remaining, folks.
All right, decent. We don't need that extra pick. We're fine.
The rat bastard Bills, man.
So we're giving up 47.84 for the 30th overall pick.
I love it. 5th year option, worth its weight in gold.
All right. Trade accepted. We're back in the first round. Steelers on the clock. They go Kenneth Grant, Rutrow. Josh Simmons. Oh no.
No.
Starks. Hampton.
No.
Ezeraku. Banks. Okay, good. Burden. Good. Booker. Good. Squirton. Good. Okay. But here's what we're looking at. Gray Zabel. Yep. Omar Norman Lott. We already addressed the defensive line. Trey Amos. Connor Lee is a nice tackle prospect. Who do you like, Johnny?
James Pierce Jr. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. He's sitting there, and I know we need to talk about offensive line, but I just give your defensive line the biggest facelift in NFL history. You just cannot convince me a guard from North Dakota State is more valuable than an edge rusher from Tennessee.
So you're taking Nolan and James Pierce Jr.
Yeah, welcome to the freak show that is the Cardinals.
You turn into the Bengals all of a sudden. You just have no regard for character at all.
They're good dudes. We'll bunk them together. They'll love it. I don't know. Let's talk this out.
You got Pac-Man Jones and Vontez Burfict in the same first round. That's basically what you're doing.
I could be swayed. Give me something else.
All right.
I need to hear an argument against.
I was checking for our next pick here at 78 if there was going to be anybody on the board
as far as edge.
Yeah, that could be enticing if we wanted to maybe pivot and go O-line here, but not the best options. I think there's some decent players, but nobody that like fires you up. I do like Trey Amos here too, as well. For some reason, I just get the vibe that Trey Amos is going to be like a really good NFL player.
Not sexy enough for me.
This is tough. I think the way you play it is you go, let's take either Pierce or Landon Jackson. Man. And then you come back and you try to get an interior offensive lineman.
I'm with Bo. I think you got to go edge here. Unless you want Connerly. Does anybody think that that's a possibility, though? I don't.
I kind of love Landon Jackson, man.
I don't have an issue with that. I think Landon Jackson's a fringe first round pick, so I have no issue with that.
Let's lean in. Let's get James Pierce Jr. here.
The chat wants James Pierce Jr.
Okay.
What a freak show first round for your boys here. Damon, you might want to speed this puppy up here a little bit.
Break, Damon, break. That's what he's backseat driving. He's holding on to the holy crap little bars.
It's taking everything in me not to side seat drive this.
Gotta go to the Ravens.
I mean, it's like a knife to the heart.
I gotta say, I think like a Tate Ratledge here, if he's available, feels pretty good.
There's Femi. Ooh, okay, there he is.
Of course, Odele, who's available because he's not a year one player. Ooh, Kyle Williams is sexy as hell at 78. I'll tell you what.
I kind of like that too.
That is sex appeal, Damon.
But we're not about that. We're about trenches.
We are. I'm with Tate the Great. I have no issue with that.
I like Tate or Savanea.
Yeah, I think either one of those is the move.
Go with the local kid. I don't care.
What do you think, Bo?
Damon, can he play? Can he play, Damon?
I think he's going to be a great player. I think his floor is extremely high.
I'm going to tell you right now, these are better options than Isaiah Adams was last year at this point in the draft. Much better options.
I always get wrapped up in the PFF grade, but let's go with the better prospect, in my opinion, Jonas Savanea.
Yep. This has a chance to be the best mock we've ever done.
115, the next pick.
I mean, like, we got out of the first round with 2 firsts, and we have all of our picks to begin day 3. Tremendous work. By the way, if you're watching with one of our many streaming partners, jump on over to gophnx.com so you can see day 3, our picks. And may not be our final mock draft, but it is overtime, baby. GoPHNX.com as we keep the party rolling here, gentlemen.
All right, we're a couple selections away. And we're on the clock, and there's Kyle Williams right there again.
Tremendous day.
I mean, is it just that simple?
It feels that simple.
I do like Torrey Horton as well. Maybe a little bit more realistic at this point, but I'm fine with Kyle Williams.
Let's cook it up, Damon.
Special mock draft happening right now.
Cardinals they just got Dortch to sign his tender today. And you bring in Kyle Williams as his successor. There you go.
I think we need a linebacker potentially now. I don't know how anyone feels about that.
Well, off ball.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Ty Robinson.
Ooh, a little depth up front.
I don't hate that. A little T-Rob, top 30 visit. What about a little Quinn Ewers here for you, Bo?
I will strongly pass.
Benjamin Albright, big Quinn Ewers guy. We'll see how high he goes.
I thought that was Garofolo that told us he's here in the
yeah, that was Garofolo. I'm sorry.
Lindenberg, huh? I don't know about any of these off-ball guys. Danny Stutzman maybe later.
I think we can hold on. I mean, I guess we only have 2 picks remaining, but maybe a Smale in at 225 or something.
All right, so we're back here. Best available. I like Ty Robinson. I know we took Walter Nolan way back when, but look, Ty Robinson.
You know what you'd be doing, Bo? You're leaning in the strength of the draft, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Nice and easy here, right?
Let's go. Higley, stand up.
I know it's tongue-in-cheek. This is the best mock draft we've done of the entire mock draft season.
Just threw something like.
Churn it. You guys are throwing everything in that studio.
All right. Is this our last pick? It is. So
it is.
We're right at the back end of the draft. Malachi Moore, the safety. Elijah Back. Okay, let's go Smile here. I know he was kind of a mock draft darling of our mock drafters. Special teams ace, potentially. Let's grab him.
This mock's bittersweet because it's the best one we've ever done, yet I'm not driving. I haven't not been in control, which is disappointing.
Makes you think, doesn't it, Johnny?
A+. We got a C-, then an A, then a B to finish it out. Our total grade of A, top 26% of Cardinals drafts.
Download this one, and we need to throw it online so people see it. I want people to know what happened here today.
There we go.
Damon, way to go. That was excellent. If we could only be so lucky, friends, come next Thursday. Well done.
That was the driver's test equivalent of Damon nailing the parallel parking first try. And Johnny, a tear coming to his eyes. Well done, son. Well done.
Let's drive ourselves right into these super chats here on a Football Friday. Again, if you haven't hit that like button, what are you waiting for? Now's a perfect chance to smash the like, and it's a perfect chance to read this first one here. Aaron, 274, Aaron Van Buren. I'll be at the draft, my home state. Hope to see Cards fans. Let's go, Aaron. We appreciate you. I think he's going to be in the draft in Wisconsin, if that's what he's saying.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
right.
It is. Yeah.
Nice.
Aaron's been in the chat saying he's going to the real draft. So, yeah.
Nice. Go eat some cheese curds, drink a ton of beer. It's the best. It's the pastime of Wisconsin.
Aaron said he's from Wisconsin, so that's probably just a regular Thursday for Aaron. He would have gotten cheese curds and drank some beer anyways.
What's the cow beer? What's it called?
Spotted Cow.
Have you had that before?
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I haven't had it in a long time. It's pretty great.
Yeah.
No idea what you guys are talking about and very interested.
There's a beer company out of Wisconsin, and they don't make it outside of there, I don't think. So, and it's called Spotted Cow. So some people who love it, they'll bring it back here. I've only had it here. I've never had it actually in Wisconsin. It's like Yingling back east.
Damon, we'll have to grab it next year. Maybe we can find some in Indianapolis when we're there.
Electric.
Brian P. Are we sure this is read as we will trade up in the second round and not trade back from 16 in the later portions around to take a developmental player? That's I thought about reaching out to Weinfuss in confirming that, but I think he was just reporting what he said. This was Josh Weinfuss earlier today on Twitter saying, quote, "A source told me today that if it wouldn't be a surprise if the Cardinals trade back into the later portion of the first round to target a developmental position." I read that as back into a later portion. I get the sense that that's getting a second round pick or a first round pick.
I agree. And I don't mean to be an asshole. I hope this is not the same source that told Josh that the Cardinals aren't in on Milton Williams and it wasn't a fit.
True.
So hopefully that's not the case.
Ben, the Cardinals fan, 199, hoping to make the draft party in the future. We'd love to have you, Ben, the Cardinals fan. Bummed you're not going to make it next week, but yeah, we are going to. It's going to be an annual event, and it's always going to be a banger.
We had a lot of people, whether it's on Twitter or in private messages, say, like, I can't come to the draft party. What can I do to support the show? And you guys are doing it right now. Subscribe, get us to 40K on YouTube, subscribe, and just be a part of next week with us. Even if you're not physically there, if you can't make it, right, you're out of state, you can't swing it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, your boys are going to be live the entirety of the draft.
Yeah.
Right. So become a diehard, spare $36 if you can. Support us from afar because you're never not with us when you're on the live streams with us.
Reezy baby, that's beautiful. $5. You've got DT class, deeper than edge, multiple guys that can play nose tackle and defensive end. Late day 2, early day 3. Take JPJ and Jonathan Jackson. Hold the line. And somebody, Reezy baby's been holding the line for all draft season, it feels like.
I would love both of those players, Reezy baby. And again, like we talked about with Josh Simmons earlier, are we overthinking it? Like, where's the Ohio State pipeline going to come in? Is it going to come in first round, second round? You know they're going to draft one at some point, and there are a couple names that scream Cardinals. I'm pretty curious, like, why didn't the Cardinals do a top 30 visit with JT? We'll have to ask Mike Garafolo. That was one name that was absent as of right now, Bo.
Yeah, we'll see about that. I mean, I think it's somebody that we could probably sneak that in before, the draft starts on Thursday, and we talk to Garofolo probably Thursday or Tuesday. I apologize. Tuesday. Let's go with Ryan Corley, $2. Damon, I heard JV Bo, will you do a live next show?
I've done my own version of the lives. I'd be happy to do it. I don't want to steal, Johnny's thunder here, as that's kind of he's the reason it is special. But on one of the AZ Wildcats shows, I have indulged in a Johnny style live. I don't remember the exact day, but I'm willing to do it whenever.
Here's what I'll say. You don't go to a Billy Joel concert to hear the bassist come in and sing vocals on Piano Man. Okay,
it's a fair point. I'm with you on that.
Damon hosts the best, and I'm not just saying this because he's our buddy, producer, and peer. He hosts the best U of A podcast anywhere that's ever been done at this network. So if you're not subscribed to that, I don't follow U of A athletics. I follow because of Damon, and they do a phenomenal job. He and Kev, go and subscribe to their podcast. It is worth your, they don't only talk about U of A sports. They trashed Shedeur Sanders, the retirement jersey the other day. It was some of the most hilarious stuff I've listened to this draft season. Damon's got his own podcast on lock doing the live, but he's welcome to do it anytime on this show.
Yeah. Damon Wildcat. I see that nickname in the chat. What do you think about that variation of it?
I like that. Man, it rips.
It responds with not a meow, but a bear down. Is it Tony jumping in with a question? This isn't a super chat, but are there still tickets for the draft party?
There are still tickets, but they are dwindling. They told us they are on their last legs. We don't have official numbers, but they said on their last legs. So if you are interested, party with us. I'm telling you right now, if you do not have plans next Thursday and you're in the greater Phoenix area, come to the draft party. Get your tickets now. I promise this, if you've never done one of these before, this is not one of those times where somebody's going to stick you on a big lawn with some grass and nobody talks to you. This is an intimate setting. Myself, Bo, the whole gang here at PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals, we're hanging out. We're drinking. We're eating together. We're partying. Bo and I are going to be on and off air. There's going to be giveaways, handouts. They're going to sell merch. It's a private room for PHNX Cardinals. We want to see you there. Again, if you have any questions, hit us up in our DMs. They are wide open. All you can eat plus 3 drink tickets. If you're a diehard right now, you're going to get 20% off. Come to our draft party this Thursday, the first round of the draft. I know that says 5 p.m. on the graphic there. We're going to get you in earlier. Come as early as what? 3:30? We're going to be hanging out before we go on air at 4:30.
We'll be in our skivvies, getting ready. We still haven't decided on a draft fit.
Maybe we should have that open to the chat come Sunday after dark. PHNX Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
Perfect Sunday after dark content.
Absolutely.
I do have one thing that came across my timeline real quick. If we're done speaking on the draft party, Dane Brugler 17 minutes ago tweeted a picture of him and Tyler Shuck at prom before their high school prom together, and it says Tyler Shuck and a fan. And I'm not playing about this. They apparently went to high school together.
So Dane Brugler went to Hamilton?
I guess so.
Because Tyler Shuck's in his mid-30s. That's why.
Yeah, Tyler Shuck is like legitimately 26, 27. But yeah, I didn't know Dane Brugler was an AZ guy.
Dane Brugler, how old is Dane Brugler? He's got to be older than Tyler Shuck. He's been around the draft streets for a minute.
Was Dane Brugler a big-time nerd chaperoning his former high school's prom?
They look the same age in the picture. And Tyler Shuck is 25, turning 26 in
no way Dane Brugler's
season.
In his 20s.
I think he is.
You think Dane Brugler's in his 20s?
I mean, look at a picture of him. I just feel like he has such a name that, exudes way more, like an older age than that, I feel like. And he's so established within the draft communities that
he's 35. He's 35.
Really?
No, I'm sorry. He's 38. Dane Brugler's 38.
What the hell is this picture?
I mean, Tyler Shuck is very old. Is Tyler Shuck older than we think? There's an article from the New
Albert
York
Pujols situation,
No,
Johnny.
that's Brock Purdy, dude.
Is it?
Yeah, that's Brock Purdy and Tyler Shuck.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, it is Brock Purdy. Wow.
That would have been
That's
mild.
even crazier.
Yeah. Brock Purdy and Tyler Shuck going to prom.
I think the point remains. Brock Purdy been in the league for multiple years, talking about signing a second deal. Tyler Shuck still slumming it. People are talking about a day 2 pick. If I'm the New Orleans Saints and that's in my future, I am turning in my Saints year. I'm not interested in being a fan of that franchise anymore. Tyler Shuck and like a defensive lineman is going to save your franchise, bro. I don't love Shedeur Sanders. You got to take him. You have to take him. Ryan
Carley saying I should wear a jersey. If we had some throwbacks, those would go pretty hard. Like if we had like a Tillman or a Fitz or a Anquan Bolden throwback.
A Fitz and an Anquan for you and I throwbacks would be pretty fire.
Yeah.
You and I being in this space now wearing current player jerseys on air would look, I mean, we'd be feeding into all the fanboy analysis. I don't think we can do that.
Yeah, agreed. If we're wearing Marv and Kyler jerseys. See, that you're getting my point. You get my point about jerseys.
On air, private time is private time.
I have a Perdomo jersey on right now, and it's even feeling a little bit on the edge. It's feeling a little bit on the edge.
Everybody like this video. Subscribe to PHNX Sports on YouTube. Big thanks to everybody. It's been a crazy week. And we appreciate all the support. Appreciate Bo holding it down earlier this week. Buckle in, friends, because beginning Sunday night, it's draft week. And your boys, are working overtime, Bo.
That's right. So next week it kicks off. It's as early as Wednesday. We're gonna do. Cardinals are gonna have OTAs on Wednesday. They're gonna have availabilities. They open up their off-season training activities.
That's nuts.
And then Thursday, it's the real deal. Holyfield. It's gonna be the draft. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if you haven't subscribed to PHNX Sports yet, what are you doing? Subscribe here to this channel. Get us closer to 40,000. We're over 39K and some change. We appreciate every one of you. And yeah, help us on Sunday night, Easter night viewing. What we're going to wear our fit for Thursday. Got to lock that in because we're not going to have a whole lot of wiggle room to really kind of pick our fit. So let's do it Sunday night. Join us, won't you? Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy some time with your family for the holidays. Johnny, safe travels. Damon, see you soon. And talk to you guys here on PHNX Cardinals real soon.
We all silly like the mayor.